welcome to all of my fellow bullet journalers. This is going to be my 2024 setup. I am setting up in this Vivid Scribbles A5 journal. It has ultra thick bleed proof 160 GSM paper and it has 200 pages. It also has a few pages for index, for keys, and in the back here it has a color swatch spread. You can see I set it up here with my Primrosea watercolor dual tip brush pens, and I'm just kind of trying to color them in and then wash out one half of it so that I can have a reference of how it looks once water is applied. And I'm really happy that I did this because I used it about 1 million times during just the first setup alone, because I'm not very familiar with these pens. They're brand new to me, so it was a huge help, and I'm so happy that this was the first thing that I did. And here I am. I'm going to just put my name and my email address here so that in the event of ever losing this bullet journal, which I hope never ever happens, whoever finds it would hopefully be able to send me an email and let me know that they have it so that I can get it back. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and skip right over the key pages and the index pages, and we're going to go to my cover page, my word of the year, or rather half year, because this journal will be for 6 months, and this is also going to be my year at a glance all in one. Here I am just referencing back to my color swatch page, first time of many times. And I am having a hard time finding the right color, so I decided to just go ahead and dump the pens out into a little box, and then that made it much easier for me to see all of them and find them instead of trying to get them out of the original container. My cover page is inspired by my childhood. Growing up, I lived on a cattle ranch out in the middle of the Arizona desert. We had a lake there that we would fish at and swim in, and I spent so many hours and had so much fun there. It's one of those special memories in my mind that I really love to remember and think back on. So I decided to make my cover page just kind of like an ode to that and to those memories, but also a little bit of a fantasy, because I actually never fished there alone. And I also never fished there. I don't remember anyways ever fishing at night. I remember getting late a few times, but not actually fishing at night. So here the cover page is supposed to be me as a young girl sitting on our dock fishing with a huge moon rising and the moon slightly reflecting off of the lake. So I went in here with a nice yellowy goldy color and then with this gray blue, and I think they were the perfect colors for the moon, and I really like how it turned out. I needed to blot out the extra water a few times. Please ignore the Ninja Turtle rag. That's not very aesthetically pleasing, but it's just what I had close by. This won't be the only spread that's inspired by my childhood. I've actually decided to theme this whole journal memories from my childhood growing up on that ranch. So here and there I am using little things that might just look normal, but they have a lot of significance to me. All throughout, they'll be there in every spread, and I'm thinking each month will be dedicated to either a certain memory or just the kind of vibe that I would get from that season, from that month. My word for these first 6 months of 2024 is reflection. And to me, that doesn't just mean taking time to stop and reflect, which I want to do more of, but it also means to think about what or who I am reflecting myself. So I am a mom of 3 daughters, and they all look up to me. And sometimes, it gets really busy and the days kind of fly by, but I hope during this next year to be more purposeful about stopping and reflecting and being more careful or more mindful and purposeful about what it is that I'm reflecting for my daughters, since they are looking up to me, and also just going along with the theme of my childhood memories, they will be forming their childhood memories right now. And so I want to keep that in mind and just be very, very purposeful this year in all of those things and how it's building up their childhood memories, and also just taking the time also to reflect back on the nice things that I'm thankful for about my own childhood. One of my biggest memories of this lake, besides swimming in it and stuff like that, was one particular fishing trip that we had gone on with some friends, and it was getting kind of late. The sun was going down, and I had a bright red fishing pole, and I was sitting at the edge of the dock and I was fishing. My sisters were there, my brother was there, and a couple of our friends were there. And I don't remember why everybody stood up, but I ended up tripping backwards over something, maybe the tackle box, and falling into the lake. And my bright red fishing pole also fell into the lake, and it ended up staying down there for a really long time. I'm not sure, but eventually my brother did dive down there and get it out for me. By then it was really rusted over. But anyways, it was really funny. Everybody had a good laugh because of how I screamed as I was falling into the lake. And, I wasn't hurt. I did have a life vest on, and I also knew how to swim. But it was just one of those things that really stuck in my mind. And I laugh every time that I remember it. And also I just feel thankful that I had a brother who was willing to dive down there and recover my fishing pole for me, even if it was already rusted. So here I am doing just a light wash of the same night sky tone on the pages on either side of the cover page, because I'm going to be doing a Dutch door style cutout that will reveal the year at a glance, 6 months on either side of this main page. So I didn't realize that my camera had a time limit of half an hour, and it automatically turns off or stops recording after half an hour. And so unfortunately, the part where I filled in my word and the number 2024 got lost, and also me cutting out the Dutch doors. But here we are, and I'm just going to fill in the calendar really quickly in pen with my Sharpie pen, and I'm just leaving the sides blank next to them or behind them because I don't think I need any lines or anything. I can just write in whatever dates I want to save next to the month, and I have extra room because there's also the back of the Dutch doors for me to use. So I'm really happy about that because in past years I've had year at a glance with much less room, and I've run out of space for some months because I like to also write down birthdays for the months as reminders. So this leaves me plenty of room for each month, and I really like how it turned out. I like that I can see the months while also seeing my word and my main spread. After having given it time to dry, I went ahead and I darkened that night sky with a much more concentrated mix of black, purple, and dark blue, and this really helped the moon and the whole thing to pop a lot more. So here you're seeing me take off those tiny little pieces of washi tape that I had stuck on before I started painting. I colored a yellowish color underneath all of them, and then I stuck tiny little squares of washi tape on top of those spots, and now I am just kind of washing them in with a little bit of water so they don't look like squares and they look more like little distant stars. And moving on to the next spread. This is something special for this year. It's just my 34 things I want to do while I am 34, because I just turned 34, and so during the year 2024 I want to make a list. It's not a to-do list, it's kind of like a bucket list. Some of the things can be really simple, silly, but basically they're just things that I want to add in and have a little bit of fun with. On the upper right here, I have added in our childhood cat Whiskers. He was our indoor cat for many, many years, and he was super special in so many ways, and so I had to add him in here somewhere. On the upper left is my favorite pair of red lace-up boots when I was younger. I'm pretty sure they were hand-me-downs from my older sister, and I loved them. I remember just waiting for the day that they would fit me, and then being so excited I could actually wear them. And for some reason I felt really fancy because they were lace-up boots. Lace-up boots weren't really fancy. They were pretty common during those times for ranch kids to be wearing, but I loved those boots, and I was really sad when my feet were too big and I had to stop wearing them. Alrighty, so I numbered and I marked the lines, and now moving on to the next spread, which is just a simple tracker for my husband's business. I track hours and jobs, and this is going to have another Dutch door in the middle because I want to make sure that I give enough room for it. So with all the columns done, now I'm going to write in the headers. I have the date, the hours, the description, the gross income made, and then also what uniform they used that day. I like to keep track of it. It turns out to be very helpful from time to time. little boxes down at the bottom are the keys for the 2 columns that are on the far right. I will fill them in later, but for now I am just setting it up and making it ready for me to add in those items with their keys and then be able to use those 2 columns. I've chosen number 83, this dark blue, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the tractor in this one. I'm just testing here if the lid will actually stay in the back of the other lid, and it doesn't, not in that way, not for the fine liner, but you can see I switch it around here and it will, the fine liner lid will stay in the brush pen lid quite well. So there's that. So about this tractor, when I was 9 and it was haying season, someone looked at me and thought, well, she's big enough to drive the tractor now. And they put me up on this old Ford tractor. It was blue, and they told me, you're gonna drive down the rows and we'll put the hay on the flatbed trailer. And so that was where I started driving and I was really happy to be doing it, and I really like those memories that I have, and I love that little tractor. Of course, this is like a fantasy version again of the tractor because in reality it's pretty rusted on the top and it did not look this bright blue, but I think this is probably what it looked like when it was brand new. So here I chose to go with an alfalfa hay bale, and that was because I wanted the twine that holds the hay bales together, that was always yellow, to stand out. And then I'm going to write in haying time 2024, because to me haying time represents work, hard work, and getting things done. So I thought it was appropriate for this work spread. Using the same golden yellow and that beautiful green, I am dedicating one to each of the keys down below and then using them for their respective columns. And that way it's easier for me not to make mistakes and putting the wrong key in the wrong column, because I've done that before and it's not very helpful. So I think this will work out really nicely. And just like that, we are all done with that work tracker, and we are going to move on. This is going to be my big time tracker for not just mood, but also weather, temperatures, exercise, and also the phases of the moon. I decided to split up these 2 pages into halves of each page to make a total of 4, and then dedicate each half to season. So the far left will be spring, and then the second half of that page will be summer. Then the left side of the right page will be fall, and to the far right it will be winter. And I am just adding in some branches, bare branches to start with, and then drawing in the word that is corresponding to the tracker below. So over to the far left, you can see that I've added in 3 keys. One is for mood, one is for exercise, and the other is for the weather. And I really like the system that I've come up with using dot to large circles, because it's so easy to look at them and see patterns or trends going on, correlations between one thing from another. What I have, for example, for mood is a large circle that almost fills in the square. It means that I was feeling very good, very happy overall that day. And then it goes down to a small little dot, which would mean that that was a particularly moody day or an emotional day for me. So here you have spring, summer, fall, and winter, and all of my trackers. I'm really excited to see this at the end and just see how I might find patterns between all of these things. So here you guys go. This is the final flip through of the yearly setup for the first 6 months of 2024. Thank you for joining me, and please be sure to subscribe if you're interested in seeing my setups for quarterly and for monthly. I do tons of trackers and a lot of fun stuff in those. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.